All right, I'm cool. Go ahead.
This is Jim the Keys bartender. Joel, I heard you said you're cool. I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
You can't say if you're cool. You could be the only person. That's one of the few things you can't judge.
What?
Whether you're cool or
No,
not.
when you say I'm cool, well, no. When I say I'm cool, I mean I'm down with it. You know?
You're jiggy with it?
I'm down with whatever it is. You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool. I'm down with it.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm not bragging anything.
No, not
I'm
at all.
the
Not at
most
all.
cool
No,
person
no.
I've ever met.
You're pretty
Yeah.
cool, Joel. You're pretty cool. You go to you live in Spain part of the year. You're a musician, a retired psychologist. You're pretty
Yeah.
cool. One of the
Yeah, I'm in.
yeah, the creator of psychoacoustics.
No, I didn't create psychoacoustics.
One of the
That
originators.
that was a cat. No, that was a cat by the name of Weber in Germany in the mid 1900s.
Oh, really?
1800s. Sorry. Oh yeah.
What do you? Well, how would he use brainwaves? Did they even track brainwaves back then?
No, but psychoacoustics has more to do about
What they use?
things
What
like
they use?
how the ear and brain hears.
What they use? Tuning forks? And would they use tuning forks back then?
Sorry, didn't catch it.
What were they using? Tuning forks for psychoacoustics?
They were doing some really good stuff back then. They were able to determine a lot of things about how we hear. And then later came the brain research that dug into it and discovered the way stations along the acoustic pathway from the ear up to the cerebral cortex. Now, when I came along, I did something very specific.
Let me pause you right there. You know what? We're going to have to reintroduce everyone that there's a lot of new listeners here, and Joel is a retired psychologist, and he did research with how would you call it? What's the technical term?
No, I did brainwaves. You know, I went into a conservatory. It's part of Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And I knocked on the door of the electronic music studio. And a guy answered the door, and I said to him immediately, have you ever thought about feeding brainwaves into your synthesizers? And so he said to me, you know, I have a very important deadline for a music piece that I'm working on. Come right in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the beginning of a 10-year project for the two of us.
Or collaboration, huh?
Yeah.
So, and then you, some of the things you used, and we discussed it on previous episodes, was you found when people were in relative states, you would derive whatever the outcome was through the synthesizer would be a representation of that state, an acoustic representation of that state. And you tried to do some, you attempted at least to use the feedback, to use it as feedback to get people into that state, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for anybody out there in the listening audience, the idea of feedback is that it's like a resonance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and what we got was a feedback between the synthesizers and the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get people to resonate with the synthesizers at particular brainwave frequencies that were conducive to different states of mind, different states of consciousness.
Okay. Well, that would make
sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, and that actually,
okay.
what we're later on in the show, well, actually we can move it up. I was going to talk about Tom Selleck trying to buy my parents' home, but I was talking about.
Okay.
Well, one, no, well,
Cool.
you know, you've seen the commercials with the reverse mortgages and stuff like that. We'll talk about that a little later.
Oh,
But-
yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
and I was
Yeah.
talking about the death of hygiene, of personal hygiene and
Uh-huh.
mental hygiene, due to the quarantine,
yeah.
COVID-19. That so many people working from home. It's was on display when the first episode, a lot of episodes of normally shows that are taped live, and live
Yeah.
shows were doing them from remotely. I guess primarily the biggest one was for me was Saturday Night Live. They did on Zoom, and you could see people, you know, without their makeup artist and
Right. Right.
and how they live at home, and some of them kind of made a joke of them when they were introducing the people on the show. They were showing how they haven't shaved and their hair's grown out and things like that. even if you watch
That's cool.
if you watch Bill Maher, Real Time with Bill Maher,
Yeah.
his hair
Yeah.
it seems to be a little more unkept. I mean, it's not. He
Yeah.
had a lot more gray in it than he normally does, and you know.
Very good.
So I know, and they put on.
Yeah.
and they put on, but they put on their jackets, and you know they're wearing shorts underneath and things like that, like they did. I guess on ESPN, some of those guys used to, you know, sitting behind their desk. They were just wearing jackets. They were
Right.
they came in. They just had their hair done and all that stuff and their makeup on.
Yeah.
And they're wearing shorts and they put on a sports coat because they're never standing. So
Right.
that's originally. Now they do that. But the death of hygiene, people are getting out of their daily routines. If you think about it, part of the routine, you're not going to work. They're getting up doing different things in the morning than they normally do. But one of the things I used to do all the time was jump in the shower before I went to the gym.
Right.
And I always did that.
Before.
Yeah. I found if you're not clean when you go to the gym and you start work out really hard, you could develop a very pungent odor if you're not vigilant. And I work out in the gym. If you're working out outside, if you're just running outside and you're not dealing with people and things like that, it's kind of silly. Or you have a home gym, you know, to do that. But that was my routine. I would shower before and after the gym. And people always said the thing about Americans is that we're obsessed about you know, showering and bathing. But that was my routine, and also shaving every day, whether I was going into work or not.
Yeah.
I shave every day, and it's and it's
No,
just
I
one
used to do that before I retired.
yeah.
But then I went, you know, when I went to Europe, when I immigrated to Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I adapted their lifestyle, so I just shower semi-annually.
Oh, it's not Thursday night, isn't shower night? So wait, when did you
Semi-annual. That's like twice a year.
when did you move from the United States to Europe?
Depends what you mean by move, but I guess for a long time.
What I mean by move.
Working.
Yeah. Oh, were you were still working?
No, when you were working, we were still working.
Uh-huh.
We hadn't retired yet, so we did a long-term rental with some really good people. We're still very good friends, best tenants ever. And you know, tenants, you got to be really careful with tenants. But anyway, we worked out. And then it was kind of 2008 that we started doing 3 months in the U.S. and 3 months over there. You know, sort of we gradually moved into it. So yeah, 2008 is when we got there.
So when you said you
They do
adopted
roots.
the European style of hygiene, meaning you're not as
Yeah.
obsessed, let's say, about the daily shower.
They may be actually, the Europeans may be more obsessed about it than I am.
Oh, okay.
Because not only did I adopt their style, I went into the style of a retiree as well, which is kind of like if you've noticed, you don't smell yourself after a while, right?
No. Well,
No. So
you become acclimated. You become acclimated to the things that you're around most of the time. And who are you around most?
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly. And so, when you become adapted like that, you're not smelling yourself. So what do I care? I just go out, and if people smell me, they smell me. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they give a shit,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine that this is unprecedented. The amount of, if you think of it as almost in the first worldwide, except for the quarantine. The quarantine is that few people, and then when they are out, a lot of them are wearing masks. So even then, you're smelling less. I mean, I guess you wouldn't.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying, Jim, is, when I go into a shower, and my infrequent showers, it's sort of like I can see the dirt coming off me on the shower floor, and I scoop it toward the drain with my feet.
Oh, God. Okay. Well,
what?
You know what? This is nice. This is not a show. I guess, luckily, we're not a cooking show, so we're not trying to make it appetizing. Well,
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like you can scoop that stuff up and use it as a flavor?
God, that is, God,
what?
You're being outrageous there.
Thank you.
It's not, you know what? We're not the kind of show you're going to be eating to, I guess, this one in particular. But then again, I picked the topic, the death of hygiene, and I can imagine that there's many people out there that are just a shadow of their former selves. If you, especially with the people that are doing remote meetings at work and all that, they're not in their routines. But that leads me to, I said the death of hygiene. One of the other things, people don't use the terminology as often. It used to be an old style term used, mental hygiene, right?
Right.
Mental hygiene is your what you do day to day to maintain your peace of mind or sanity or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So it's being able to decompress after a tough day at work, prepare yourself, preparing yourself for a tough day at work, maintaining yourself during work, and decompressing after, being able to handle difficult relationships, and now with the quarantine, that I guess that work thing is taken around people. Some people, work was they realized work was an outlet. They miss it, and some people.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that old joke about retirement, which goes, for better or for worse, but never for lunch.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, there is a clip, I'll send it to you, man. But there is a clip of a guy, there's a voice, very sounding voice, and you see the guy in the clip, they got him in the visual. And it says, you've been chosen to go into quarantine, but you have two choices. Choice A, you quarantine with your wife and child.
Oh, I heard that one. I saw that one. And the person goes B, and he goes B.
Choice.
Yeah, and he
choice. Choice B, and he's immediately B.
B. Yes, he said it. That was.
You know, that'll really,
well,
clinically speaking, that would really that presents a challenge to relationships, doesn't it?
there's going to be there are so many. Well, we'll focus on the relationship part. People that normally that social distancing people practice from themselves are not practicing with their family members, but now they're even closer than they were with their families, with less outlets. The children not in school, the husband and wife not going to work, not having the gym, not having even the small circle or large circle of friends that you have. That you're just spending more time together, and there's some people are finding it not conducive with mental hygiene, a good mental hygiene, because of some of these relationships are, what would you call them? They're less than healthy relationships, and they're locked in with them. And there's people that were barely. We're going to find out. There's going to be so many stories out there. There's going to be so many stories that come out of this. I just think there's going to be the ones where people find a deeper relationship and a deeper understanding of the people around, and that's a good thing. I think
that is.
We have pretty much the same amount of disagreement, and we're finding out more about each other in a good way. So I guess that's the positive thing. We're actually feeling things are working out pretty good.
Right. People, if they can use this opportunity to, I don't know what the term is, kind of level the playing field. I think it's more like coming to some understanding of, like, okay, I'm a little upset by what my partner is doing, but on the other hand, I can sympathize with that or empathize with it because I do some pretty crappy, strange things myself every once in a while.
How about?
And how do we lift this to a higher level? Can we lift this to a higher level where we're having a good time? Why waste time in having a bad relationship? Can we get it up there?
Yeah. And then when things open up, they have a richer, closer understanding of their relationship, and they actually
absolutely.
But on the flip side, there'll be people that are in relationships that are always tense, always under tension, and they use that time separated for, let's say, going into work, having an outside life as a way of dealing with a difficult home life.
Yeah, well,
but they don't have that. Yeah, as a buffer, and they don't have that now. So that's the things that are going to come. We're going to hear stories about that, and that's going to be horrible. And then there's going to be unique stories of. Well, it's not going to be unique. I think there's a large. There's percentage-wise, there's probably a decent size of people in committed or supposedly in outward committed relationships that are seeing people on the side, and they're having probably very difficult time.
Yeah, there is no side.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, and they're in certain places, especially a big city. There are people going out like disappearing and say, "Honey, I got to take the trash out," and they're gone for 45 and they're going for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Or or someone says, "Oh, I'm going to have to get a dog," because I got to walk the dog, and then you're leaving for like 2 hours, 3 hours, or even just going to make a phone call on the porch. What?
No, I'm saying like I thought a good business to go into right now would be like rent a dog.
Oh, rent a dog, so you get. Well, wait.
Yeah.
Well,
so you get to go out. Yeah.
So you can go out to walk a dog. So you can walk someone else's dog.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
no, no. I would rent people who don't have dogs that they could take for walks and get outside, you know?
Oh, I see that, to get away from the quarantine rules.
Right,
Yeah, yeah. But they're not. I mean, there's very
right.
few places in the United States. I think New York's one of the few ones where they're really strict about that. It's not like Spain or
Yeah,
Italy. Um, and
yeah.
then
Spain is very strict.
yeah, and then you
Yeah,
have people that, I mean, there's people that have. I have neighbors that have a autistic son, and their lifestyle really didn't change much.
yeah,
Their lifestyle, where they go and what they do, and I think for some reason now they feel. I guess they don't feel that kind of separation from their neighbors because they realize their neighbors are doing pretty much what they're doing too. So they don't see their neighbors taking
yeah.
off and going places and things like that. But then on the flip side of
Mm.
all those things, you have the people that are alone.
Yeah, that can be very difficult. I mean, we know how isolation works,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, as a torture
Mm-hmm.
technique. Because you isolate somebody, our brains are not built for sensory deprivation,
Mm-hmm.
let's say. And so you isolate somebody, and pretty soon they're going to start to show very significant signs of mental distress, hallucinations, that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So that's a difficult one. I wouldn't mention any names, but I have a cousin and her two brothers
Mm-hmm.
that I'm close to. Our mothers were sisters, and she had just actually relocated at the age of 70 from California to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and she had some friends living close by, but now she's in isolation, and she was starting to show some of these signs. So I got on with my two cousins, and we decided, okay, we're going to move up to, instead of phone calls, we're going to move up to video calls
Uh-huh.
of one type or another,
Mm-hmm.
because that's very important
Mm-hmm.
to be able to visualize somebody. And then we were going to stagger it, and we were going to each talk to her once a week,
Uh-huh.
And it seems to have worked. A couple of weeks later, she's feeling much better, much more accepting of her situation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it comes down to. I think we're very lucky if we're in isolation, we're very lucky to have the current technology to be able to visit each other that way, let's say.
Yes.
So it's not complete isolation.
Well, in some places they don't have that, right? It's just the way it is. It depends on your socioeconomic. There's some people that don't have access
Yeah.
to it, and
But I'd venture to say that those, what they'll do is those people, and it's showing up in the stats on the spread of coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
is they won't socially isolate
Uh-huh.
because of that. Choose your evil. What is the better of the two evils?
You're right.
You know?
You're right. So a lot of these things, it's quarantine or sequestering of people. It gives people opportunity to actually. You're not at work. You're not doing the things you normally do. It gives you time to reflect on what you were doing with your life, right? When you don't have, if you're not identifying as you're not going into work. You're not a furniture salesperson, and you're staying at
Right.
home. You don't identify as that, but then you find yourself drinking and watching videos and maybe getting into a
could be a
serious
difficulty,
serious addictions. Could be a porn addiction. Could be all sorts of things. And you start
Netflix.
saying
Netflix. Netflix addiction.
That's entertainment. That's entertainment. I've got to.
Some very good things on there.
No, but fortunately, I had an outlet with the podcasting, and I've been seeking out people, and I can spend upwards of 3-4 hours a day on one particular show. Getting it ready for it, thinking about it, writing about it, calling, talking to you, and then the show itself, and then I have something to do, and then I can spend the rest promoting it and doing other things. So that's my outlet. And then some people will be getting in puzzling and things like that. But in the end, when you don't find anything to do and you start feeling that Netflix and just sitting around drinking isn't what it's all cracked up to be, then that's when you get that internal reflection and you go, wow, what is this life's all about? And then you can actually give you a breather to actually rethink things in a good way, not the depression, my life has been wasted and on things like that. I'm talking about reflection, meaning what could I do differently? What are the possibilities I have in front of me? What can I do about my relationships? Who can I reach out to? And things like that. And there are other avocations for me. But there's one thing that I found disturbing. I have a very little empathy for some people, and the way I always would pride myself on being empathetic. But if I see myself separate, the way I would separate myself is if someone was not they didn't have much of it. Let's say they didn't really appreciate people that don't appreciate social distancing, the people that going out, the protesters right now that go out with their guns and they're saying I can't get a haircut and all this stuff and getting all pissed off and selfish, the selfish people. I have very little empathy for them. I was watching a video for these 8 people. They're on a boat, right? And it has a GoPro facing backwards at the people on the boat, right?
Okay.
And they're just showing them. There's 2 girls in bikinis. They're all right. It's not, they're one of these girls who you're not really focused on. And there's some guy with a shaved head driving the boat. And so there's 3 people in front, 5 in the back, and they're going along. They're just standing there trying to look cool on the boat, right? And they're going along, and the guy ups it, and you see the boat starts hitting a wake and some wake turbulence, and then they just totally hit the wake, and they turn into a bunch of Mexican jumping beans inside the boat. Bang their heads. Some guy got cut up and stuff like that. You hear him moaning and all this stuff. There could be, and I'm looking at it, I go, all I thought was, you guys are assholes, just assholes. Just in it, just that thing where you're just filming yourself, riding the boat, trying to be cool, and that happens, and you go, and then you save the video and post it. Where people, they're that little reflective to saying, hey, look what happened to us when we were going along. And they're all there as the guy is going a little too fast. They're all trying to maintain their footing, right? Standing up. And then when they hit the wake and stuff like that, even a guy driving the boat gets thrown to the other side. And he's holding his head for a while and stuff like that, trying to look cool. When he hit that throttle, I'm going, I had zero empathy for those people. I felt bad about that. I said, you know what? First instinct should have been, I hope they weren't hurt and all that stuff. And I go like, oh, well, they're assholes. And that's I used to laugh at that before because I wouldn't spend a lot of time, but I actually watched it twice. I watched the video twice, and I got enjoyment out of it, and I really feel bad about it. I do. I realize that it's a vicarious enjoyment of someone suffering. When I see people.
That's part of us. The vicarious part. Yeah. It's when it goes into true behavioral acting out. where you're inflicting pain and damage on other people, where you become the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Well,
say.
well, I mean, I always used to feel
my
bad.
Father,
I'd always feel bad that I was weak because I'd watch these other ones and be upset when they see people hurt, starving, and things like that. And I said, "Oh, I'm wishy-washy. I'm
Of
all
course.
this." And I said, "Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not wishy-washy because when idiots get hurt, I don't give a shit." And that's the thing that
No,
you were
I
talking
mean,
about your
that's-
father.
that's-
Yes.
Yeah, but we have phrases for that. They brought it on themselves. God punished them. Whatever different people say. But we know bad behavior when we see it. And it's hard to empathize with people like that.
Yes.
It just is. And particularly if there's a distance.
Mm-hmm.
If it was somebody in your family who did something silly, got themselves in trouble, you're more likely to reach out, let's say, and try to help to the extent you can. But you always have to keep an eye on yourself. And if you're being reeled into a bad situation, it's going to cause you self-harm, then you're going to pull back from that.
Yeah.
And you're going to lower your at least the behavioral output, let's say, of your empathy. So I think that's fine. I mean, if you can dip into places in YouTube where one of the things that I really find amazing is because there's so much vodka involved
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many accidents. Most Russians, it seems, have dash-mounted cameras.
Oh yeah,
So their insurance companies can tease out what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the most incredible YouTube accident videos of, just silliness
Mm-hmm.
that creates this stuff. And there's no place for empathy.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an inch of space for empathy in that kind of thing. And people will sort of get off on that, in terms of dark humor or some sort of cathartic relief,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if it's not real. Well, science, psychology has shown that the further away you are from whatever disaster,
Mm-hmm.
the less you feel it.
Oh, that
Let's
was in
remember.
that was in that movie. God, what was that? Hannah and Her Sisters.
Okay.
Alan Alda. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
tragedy plus time is comedy.
Yeah.
Alan Alda said that. When they're making a documentary about him.
Yeah.
And Mia Farrow is the director, I think, or the producer, the executive producer of it.
Okay.
And Woody Allen is supposed to be the director, I guess. And he just couldn't. He couldn't do it. He just thought Alan Alda was a total ass. But the one thing he said is tragedy plus time is comedy. Give me a chance. It is.
I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So time is distance also. No.
Okay. Well, the episode.
Yeah.
I said that we were going to call this poor mental hygiene, or ass over a barrel. People are in dire straits. Some people, fortunately, we're not. No, financial dire straits right now, because of their lack of work, and you have people, acting out. But you see these commercials that every so often used to prey on the vulnerable, and one of them was payday loans. I don't see as many as those as I used to. Payday loans, because obviously there's no paydays for some of these people, right? So they can't make payday. So you don't see Amscot Financial. I mean, anybody that has to go and get a $500 loan, a high interest loan, has precarious finances, right?
Yeah.
And it's a shame. And those companies are built to take advantage of it. The Amscott Financial is the, I hate to say this, I'll never, I swear to God, if I find any platform is using a commercial on my show, I'm just going to say they're pieces of shit. I'm going to say that right now. Yeah, they do performance service and stuff like that, but grant me, they are doing it for a profit. They're not the saints. And then you got these bankers that decided the best way to reverse mortgages, which a brilliant financial tactic for people getting houses away from people. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they came up with reverse mortgages, because they're beneficial for the people that are issuing reverse mortgages. Otherwise, you could sell your house, and there's other better ways to do it. But Tom Selleck is one of the commercials. That's what he's saying. Tom Selleck's trying to buy my grandparents' house, because he comes out and says,
wow.
And I says, well, I wouldn't be doing a commercial if I thought it was bad. No, you wouldn't be doing the commercial if you weren't getting paid. You're not Sally Struthers, or who's doing the adopt a child thing. You're not Sarah McLachlan doing it for PETA. You're Tom Selleck being paid to do a commercial. And playing lip service to that is to people that are most vulnerable and saying, you need money. And they show people that are doing, pretty well, and they say, well, hey, this was a good idea for us. It took care of things. But there's a lot of times they take, and then there's another one, and this is the one, the really big one. But this is where I have mixed feelings about it. J.G. Wentworth. You ever hear that? You know what that is?
No.
It's people that they advertise fast payout for structured settlements. So if you had a lawsuit and they settled it through a structured payment, meaning we'll pay you $500 a month for 20 years or whatever, right? That's a structured payment. And what they do is they come in and they buy it out. And they redirect the payment going to them, and they amortize. I don't know. So whatever they do, they reverse the payment. So if it's paid out like $80,000, they take whatever is most advantageous to them. Let's say 28. If it's an $80,000 eventual payout, they said you can either wait for that $80,000, or we'll give you. Let's say I'm picking a number, $28,000. You get all in one lump sum.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're taking advantages, just like out of people who don't know what's good for them.
Right.
Meaning, you could probably get it better just to get a loan, or a loan against your property, a low-interest loan against your property, if you had that. But why I'm saying I have mixed feelings for it, a lot of people that go for it.
I'd venture.
What?
Yeah, no, I was going to say I'd venture that goes back into prehistory.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes back. Yes, where people would take it. There was a really interesting story on National Public Radio. They got a show on Sundays called. Well, it could air another time, but I used to listen to it Sunday morning, called This American Life. You ever hear of it?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, okay. Ira Glass is the host,
right,
and the creator of it. And there was one.
Gabby knows.
Yeah.
I think Gabby actually knows his mother.
Oh, well, it's a brilliant.
He's a Baltimorean.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant show. But they told this story about this guy who figured out how to, in a large scale, get insurance policies for people. He would pay people to make him the beneficiary on an insurance policy. Now, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to, and it's usually people, older people, people in bad health, and he used the actual actuarial tables. Let's say if he was able to get a $20,000 loan, be able to pay you like $5,000 or something like that. And it's for people that weren't going to get a policy. In the end, if you think about it, he was doing things. He was giving money to people, but getting policies, and he was benefiting from the policy. I don't want to go into too depth on it, that stuff like that. It was to the letter of the law was correct, but it did not follow the spirit of the law. And eventually they had, I think eventually states started passing laws against it. And
sure.
So that we hit predatory loans, reverse mortgages, structured settlement buyouts. But then think of all, for time immemorial, what was the thing that's been going on? You said it's been going on forever? Pawn shops.
Oh, yeah.
Pawn shops and loan sharks. Loan sharks pretty much told you what they were going to do. They told you exactly. They said, what the repercussions were going to be and things like that. Pawn shops, I don't mean to put pawn shops with loan sharks. But what I'm saying is we used to look down our noses at them. But just because someone's giving you 10% of the value or 20% of the value, because they got to have, they're looking at a ring, and it could be, you say it's worth $8,000. Now, they could have bought it for $8,000. That's retail and not wholesale. And wholesale could be $6,000. And in their eyes, it could be $5,000. So they may buy it from you for $2,000, right?
Right.
Because if you don't come back, they'll hold on to it a while. If you don't come back, they'll come back and they'll just sell it. And that's their risk. And they got to make profit from their risk. And now I really look at pawn shops differently now. Now, it sucks that it's like a casino. If you can't handle a casino, and stuff like that, but it's just one of those things. Palm readers. We always see there's the lower echelon thing down here. It's funny in the Keys. I don't know if you ever paid close attention that there for year round the total population of Keys 74,000. I would not be surprised if there are 40 palm readers down here that have their own places. Between Marathon,
well, I
Key
think
West.
particularly when, particularly when it gets sketchy like this, and there's a a really indefinite way, shall we say, to read the future.
Mm-hmm.
That's when these people pop up and sort of take advantage of.
I think this is the one time they're actually doing a service. One time they're doing a service because everything is shitty right now. There's hardly anything good out of it. They're actually giving hope, and whatever money they take, they would have taken the money whether it's good times or bad times. Right? But taking the money now, they're giving hope.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends.
I mean, if you're dumb enough to believe
it, palm reader.
Yeah, if you're dumb enough to believe that someone is going to be able to, whether a palm reader or they call them palm readers, but some people use whatever. They have
whatever
their own
tarot cards.
Gimmick tarot cards. They feel your head. They may ask for some personal objects from somebody.
I used to joke. I used to joke around with going to a Chinese restaurant, and at the end of the meal, we'd crack open our fortune cookies, and I would like everybody go around. What's yours? What's yours? What's yours? And it would come to me, and I'd say, mine says you will die an early and painful death.
Mm-hmm. And it never came true?
Everybody would stare at me. and of course it doesn't say that. That would be negative marketing, right?
No.
You don't want to be told that at the end of the meal. I actually once did get a fortune cookie that said, order takeout now, you will be hungry soon. So, that old riff on you're hungry an hour after you have Chinese food. But the other point is that I think going back to the original, about 5 minutes back in the conversation, we're talking about, let's say, the less than privileged, the underprivileged, whatever, the really underclass. If you plot it up, and I've read some talk about this, but I haven't seen the numbers, I haven't seen a graph. But I'm almost certain if you plot it up about the number of coronavirus infections versus the class, those who have money, those who don't have money, those who are living in poverty in very close quarters and having to go out, even in dangerous times, and scrape for a living, scrape for their food, I should say. It's going to show a direct correlation. There's been articles, and if you caught it in the newspapers,
I did, but there's also
online that a lot of very wealthy people, are escaping to their own private islands.
The funny thing, this is where the even though they're saying that the antibody may not exist in there, you'd still be able to, if you had it once, you'd still be able to handle it a little better the second time, perhaps, or something like that. People are saying that the lower class having it run through them quickly makes them more resilient for the second and third reintroduction of it. Meaning, the wealthy, the wealthy people that are sequestered won't have the population won't have an immunity to it, but the lower class might have the immunity to it.
What do you think? Do they deserve it?
Do they deserve it or not? I'm just saying that's what's going to happen. I think that's actually.
Good answer.
I think it's what's happening because they don't have the wherewithal to separate themselves, and you're going to have places like, if it's actually existing in Mumbai, India, how in the hell, if the coronavirus does reach there, and it survives, how in the hell would the ghettos of Mumbai, which they say there's 20 million people there, let's say, and 12 million of them living in close quarters, that's going to run rampant through it. And people die of dysentery and things like that. But once it's through them, it's through them. And once they're reinfected 2-3 times, that everyone's had it, that'll be over. Yeah. I'm not a believer in that herd inoculation thing where some people, some right-wing people are saying, you know what, it may be better just to let it run rampant and let it go. And it's kind of a cold-hearted way to handle that because you're pretty much saying
It is, but there's a half truth to that or a quarter truth.
There's a truth to the effectiveness. There's a truth to the effectiveness, but it is immoral. That's the thing, or unethical.
I'm more on the biological end. The idea of why children eat dirt, and do you want to really stop them from doing that? Well, one of the ideas is children eat dirt to build up their immunity.
Uh-huh.
So there might be some possibility that people will, in the lower classes, the underclasses, will build up more immunity than the upper classes.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand,
As
the
a population.
compensation is the upper classes can really isolate themselves. They have the money, they have the yachts, they have the private islands to really isolate themselves. Although, then you turn around, you look at somebody like Chris Cuomo,
Mm-hmm.
who, through all his interviews, glad-handing, whatever, being in the public eye,
Mm-hmm.
and not, sort of secluding himself, picks up coronavirus, and then despite his best efforts, gives it to his wife,
Mm-hmm.
you see. So I think we're, in some ways, we're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
And what has to happen is, frankly, you have on one side of the equation the governors in the U.S., I'm saying, you have the governors and the scientists. And on the other side, you have the politicians, and especially the Republicans who are trying to maintain their hold on power.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to their advantage to open it up soon. But you can't do that unless you have all the testing materials
That's correct.
to be able to sort people.
Yeah.
And that's it for me. I end my preaching.
No. It makes 100% sense that they want to open up quickly. There was a posting on Facebook where this someone forwarded this message. They said they knew this person. It's a 6-year-old man. Original post from mid-March was he was very angry about businesses becoming closed, and this was prior to stay-at-home order. And he says, "No, the government has no right to tell me where I can and can't go." And the person had contracted the COVID-19 virus and died. That same person.
Mm-hmm.
Which, once again, that level empathy, when the person said something like that, the guy says angrily said that and stuff like that. The stupidity behind it.
Yeah.
And I have friends. Stupidity. I said stupidity. I hate saying that, but you got to think past the visceral responses. You can't work. You can't go outside. You can't see the person. Be a little larger and think about everyone. People say,
Indeed.
all you need to do is keep the sick people in. Someone posted, all you have to do is keep the people in. But all you have to do is read a little. You could be a carrier, not be sick, and you could do much more damage than a sick person. Sick person. If you saw a sick person where you're out, and you saw them coughing, you saw them with spots, you would avoid them. You would avoid the things they touch.
Right.
If you see someone that's healthy, you're more likely to touch the things they touch, get closer to them, and have a discussion with them. And that's the person that's going to get you sick. The sick person obviously can get you sick, but you're not going to go near that person. It's the asymptomatic person that always has the biggest impact, and there's a historical figure for that. Typhoid Mary.
My take is
Typhoid Mary, right?
What we need is
what?
We need the antibody testing. No, and we need it as soon as possible. We need it to cover the largest number of people, so that we can start to begin to open up again.
Mm-hmm.
But the federal government is completely disorganized. And that's their mission, the federal government.
No,
where the states can't take care of this on their own.
Yeah, the states can't.
There has to be an overall countrywide effort to understand the flow of this stuff, who's safe, who's not safe, and how to save us.
I listen. I work part-time for a hospital, and they had the federal guidelines for reopening, right? And I work for the most robust hospital system in South Florida. In Florida, maybe. or maybe even the southeast part of the United States. And they have the opening guidelines, and they don't foresee that happening anytime soon. And they're a hospital system. So what does that mean for everyone else? So these idiots that are up in Michigan, what do you think you're doing if a hospital system, and we're in a Republican state, and I have to say the hospital authority is probably more Republican than anything else. They can't figure out how to do it. So trust me. And with the guy that's ahead of this saying he's kicking the can to the states, and when we needed a national policy originally, they needed a national policy.
I'll venture to say that the Republicans, their priorities are a little confused.
Mm-hmm.
We elected them to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, if they're in that sort of position as governor, senator, president, they're supposed to be protecting us.
Yeah.
I don't see that from them.
Yeah.
I see self-perpetuating, self-aggrandizing. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
And self-aggrandizement, if that's a word.
Aggrandizement. Aggrandizement.
Thank you. And self-enrichment.
Yeah. Well, listen. Let's try to end this on a high note. Do you think?
Okay.
Do you have any? If you can get your German friend to send a sample, do you have any samples of an anonymous synthesized brainwave?
Oh, let me check with my friend. I gave them to him in Baltimore, and he may have taken them to Berlin.
No, just one.
And I'll check with him.
Yeah. It sounds like part of a joke that you're ready to tell me, something like that. But what happened, an anonymous one, something that is not, no attribute, just anybody's, because it would be like me showing, it's even less descriptive than me showing a fingerprint. Like if I took a picture of a fingerprint, not knowing who the fingerprint is, but so I wouldn't be revealing anything. But I would like to play one of them just to show this is one of them.
Yeah, I can understand your curiosity.
Yeah.
I'll try and raise it up now.
And putting you on the spot.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot. It's Monday.
No.
How much time would you need to be ready to do another show? Like Friday? Saturday?
Sounds good. Friday sounds good.
Friday, same time. Okay?
Yeah.
See if you get, I'll give you a little homework. Okay?
Oh, no.
Okay, and what I'll do, I'll make a radio play for us. Okay? I'll make a radio play. How do you like that? I'll write a radio play.
A radio play?
Yep.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what a radio play is? War of the Worlds?
What's a radio play?
A radio play is like a teleplay.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to write a radio play. I'm going to write a radio play.
Send my part.
I could play your
my
part.
part to me.
No, well, yeah, and I could be the psychologist, and you could be the patient.
Well, that'd be perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll maybe that, or it could be anything. And if you ever had, if your family ever wanted to participate, I'd have roles for them too.
Yeah, I'll check them.
Just say, throw it out. Just throw it out.
Yeah, we could
see what it is.
We could do like family. We could do like family therapy. Jim is a therapist, right?
No. It wouldn't be real. That's why I call it a radio play. It's all made up. If any of it hits,
it's all made up.
If any of it was close to home, too close to home, I wouldn't do it.
So what are you saying? You're going to send me my part?
Yeah, it's going to be a radio play. It's going to be a radio play.
Send me my part, man. You know where to find me.
Yeah, I'm going to write it. I'm going to write a radio play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I need a part.
I will have your part, yes. And I'll build a character
Yeah,
behind
but
you.
you do.
I'll build a character.
Now you're doing. You do understand I'm an improviser, right?
You can improvise. I'll give you.
And I don't take direction well.
You don't have to be directions. I'll give you
Right.
I'll give you a brief background of it. I'll give you a brief background of your character, and then you'll have to follow it. Okay? And then I'll write my responses, and I'll try to envision what you would say, and I'll write it as like a computer program, if then, and then route it that way. I'll write it down like that. So if I get an answer, so I can do this. I can do this. I can figure it out. I can make it eight minutes long.
Quick question. Quick question. Can some of my responses be musical on my guitar?
How appropriate? How would that work out?
Huh?
How would that work out at all?
I don't know. Maybe you can tell by the emotion coming through my guitar.
I definitely would.
I don't know. Well,
I think that would be interesting. That might be interesting. I'd like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Let me chew on that.
Cool, man.
And then we're part of it.
Yeah.
And then.
We leave a little of it.
There is wait.
Yeah?
Did you send me? Did Gabby send me the? What was that? English? Was it the? It was that English therapist, the woman with the puppet. The woman with the puppet. They did
no. Oh yes, I sent that to you.
Shit, I got to rethink that. I got. You know what? See, I hate to be derivative. What would
do that?
Now I got to rethink that, so I'm not derivative.
Do your own thing, man.
That was really good. That was good. Yeah, I don't want to be derivative. Okay, well, I could do it. I'll do it. I'll set it up.
Yeah, you do it.
I'll do it.
I have faith. Yeah, I have faith.
I'll come up with another scenario. I'll figure it. I got it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Very cool.
Do you hear my music when I play it? I notice you don't hear my. I just found out from another person I interviewed.
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't hear your music.
You heard it. You heard it before, though, haven't you?
Well, when we did it in person, yeah.
The intro. Okay. Well, I'm going to play it right now. I'm going to say goodbye to you.
Yes.
I don't want to hang up on you until it's
Bye-bye.
over. Bye.
Fun.
Don't hang up right away. I'm going to play the music.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Go for it.
Wait, I shouldn't have played that. Wait, hold on. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening. I started playing the music, and I started playing the music, and I should be saying goodbye before I play the music. Right? And then I turn off the music and go, wait, I forgot to say goodbye. Well, goodbye, everyone. Is the Monday show. We're going to have it out. It's almost live. It isn't live because I'm going to save it. I'm going to put a poster. I think I'm going to put what would you? I'm going to let you call this one. We got your ass over a barrel or mental hygiene.
The first.
Ass over a barrel.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to still do the pictures of the mental hygiene then, or good personal hygiene. I have this retro poster that has all the pictures from the 1950s of some of the reels of good personal hygiene.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is old school.
Okay.
Right?
Friday, yeah. I'll send you an email before. Well, we'll be in touch. I'll send you some of my
Friday
ideas.
3:30.
And I'll bug you for
that.
that.
My calendar, man.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, well, listeners, you wasted almost another hour. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.